some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
We f***ed up.
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the heroically humble Dr. Disaster. And a few years ago, Disney decided to try to end the career of Gina Carano for posting this, talking about World War II era Germany, saying Jews were beaten in the streets, not by soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to the point where soldiers could easily round up thousands, the government first made their own neighbors hate them for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That is what got Gina Carano fired from her Star Wars gig on Disney, with everyone in Hollywood basically blacklisting her afterward. They didn't like that she was calling them out for their cancel culture mentality. So, what did they do? The progressives canceled her, and then they showed us snarky cartoons like this, explaining cancel culture mentality to everyone, where they say that if you get canceled, it's just that people think you're an a-hole, and they're showing you the door.
Thanks for the advice.
Well, as these things tend to happen, eventually the shoe is now found its way onto the other foot, and Jimmy Kimmel, the Disney corporate puppet hosting The Late Show on ABC, was just removed from his job indefinitely for that clip that I showed at the beginning of this video, where he tried to claim that the person who killed Charlie Kirk was MAGA. And why did he say that obvious nonsense? Two reasons. It's what his audience wanted to hear, and he believed he was untouchable.
I am invincible! Invincible! You ow!
But it turns out that he wasn't untouchable at all. This message here comes from Nexstar, a company that owns a variety of ABC affiliate networks across the United States, and they said that they refused to air anything by Jimmy Kimmel because of what he said. And this prompted Disney to suspend Kimmel indefinitely, and a whole bunch of progressive shitlibs are pissed off. Like, for example, this guy here, a senior Battlefield 6 developer, as pointed out by Grums over on X. Even the Screen Actors Guild is apparently outraged, standing up for Kimmel even though they had nothing to say when Carano was fired. A bunch of these shitlibs are calling for a boycott of Disney now as a protest against cancel culture, and there's a reason that these lefties didn't have anything to say when it was happening to Gina Carano.
It wasn't me.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure you check on that. And there's been a lot of talk about restricted mode being automatically enabled for a lot of users on YouTube, which would cut you off from a lot of your favorite channels, so don't forget to check into that as well and turn it off if it has been turned on and you don't want it. But alrighty then, let's talk about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel and how people are reacting to it. The thing is, the worm seems to have completely turned at this point consequence culture, because that's what I like to call it these days, but it has completely traded hands by now, it seems. There once was a time when Scott Cawthon, you may remember, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, he had a whole bunch of backlash thrown his way for simply donating to Republican candidates several years ago, leading to boycotts and his eventual retirement. Or let's take a quick trip down memory lane and listen to a so-called progressive thought leader. And yes, I'm aware that that's a contradiction in terms, but bear with me. But let's listen to AOC's response when someone that she doesn't like, Tucker Carlson, was removed from his position at Fox a few years ago.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad that the person that was arguably responsible for some of the largest, driving some of the most amounts of death threats and violent threats, not just to my office, but to plenty of people across the country, I also kind of feel like I'm like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled. And then you see like the villain's like hand reemerge out to grip over like the end of a building or something. But deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
These people were the ones who created this monster. They brought a nuke to a fist fight, and now they're crying foul when their opponents are responding in kind. And what they didn't understand is that there is a powerful voice on the other side of the aisle which pushed the company Nexstar into pressuring Disney into getting rid of Kimmel. Now, naturally, there are a lot of progressives trying to turn this into a Donald Trump issue, acting as if it was his office that caused this to happen, when in reality, the normie audience who feeds the advertising machine went after these guys. They went after Nexstar. This was like the Bud Light or Target situation again. This was Cracker Barrel levels of backlash. Nexstar, as I said earlier, is a company that owns a lot of ABC affiliated local stations, and you had better believe that these local stations were getting angry calls and emails from angry viewers. I don't know who needs to hear this at this point, but I'm just going to come out and say it. Normal people are not okay with the sort of political violence that happened to Charlie Kirk, and they are even less okay with blaming the victim of that violence for the violence, which is essentially what Kimmel did with his little speech in that clip that I showed at the beginning of this video. But one of the funniest things to happen surrounding this whole situation is that Disney, which is one of the ultimate evil shit-lib companies out there, there appears to be an effort from the left to boycott them now because of Jimmy Kimmel. This image here shows a bunch of leftist influencers calling for a Disney boycott, and here is an article on the subject from Newsweek. This idea is like a Sith Lord boycotting his own lightsaber. I mean, it is staggering how much sway Disney has over normie discourse, from television to cartoons and movies. It's like, my dudes, if you want to disarm yourselves, then all you had to do was ask. I am more than willing to signal boost a boycott of Disney Plus and anything that Disney touches. This is a company that has ruined arguably my favorite franchise of all time, Star Wars, by getting all political with it because the creators thought they were main characters working for the rebels in a fight against a real-life empire. They were deluded. Kathleen Kennedy is an unrepentant, ideological nightmare who has crapped all over one of my favorite things ever. She has tolerated Pedro Pascal's openly left-wing political views while condemning Gina Carano and firing her for saying even the faintest thing that didn't toe the line. Now, I know that I shouldn't interrupt an enemy as they're making a mistake, but I have to say this. I am thrilled to think of lefties coming after Disney. These people have defended Disney all along because they know that this is a major arm of their propaganda machine. So, if they want to boycott this company, then I am A-okay with it on a ton of different levels. And to Disney, I'm gonna say the same thing that I said about Sucker Punch yesterday. Disney Disney is a company that chose to get political, flying in the face of conventional business wisdom which says that you really shouldn't get involved. But they thought the progressives were going to be in power over everything forever, and they thought the progressive fans would be able to carry their sorry asses until there was a complete ideological takeover. But their movies and shows have been flopping for years, and now a message has been sent when it comes to their TV programming from the cultural right. And that message is, we own your ass. And now, because Disney bowed to this pressure, even the left hates Disney and wants to boycott them. There's nobody left who wants to buy their products. So, would you say that playing politics and overtly taking a political side, like your entire company is the Borg or something, incapable of dissenting thought, would you say that that's worked out for you, Disney? Well, we'll see what happens, I guess, but I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your contempt for Jimmy Kimmel, Disney, and everything like Star Wars which these people have ruined. Drop that into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.